Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and we're going to talk about rolling dice with dogs. All right, with a dog. All right, so I'm preparing to run Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition for a family friend. His name is Waffles. He is a German Shepherd. He's a friend of our family. He is a German Shepherd Corgi mix. And I recently learned that Waffles is a YouTube consumer. He consumes multiple channels on YouTube. He has favorite channels on YouTube. He has channels he doesn't like, and he interacts with these channels. And so I did not know this, but dogs, because they're becoming far more important in American society. There's very few things that humans are able to do or interact with that dogs are not. Things that are not being given to dogs, in addition to just like humans receive, right? The dog weddings, all kinds of stuff, right? So I realized there's a vacuum for dog Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and so I'm preparing to run Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition campaign for this friend of the family, Waffles. He's a German Shepherd Corgi mix, right? Basically, yeah. So I started thinking about this, and I was like, okay, well, how's Waffles gonna roll dice, right? And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to get his own dice. So I'm like, okay, wait, what color and what material, right? I was like, well, opaque is probably gonna be easiest with nice bright white color, white numbers, right? And then I was like, I can get, good like Q Workshop plastic, or I could get. I play every Sunday night with humans, and one of the players has this super dope metal set, very expensive, very nice. I was like, metal, yeah. And then I also, a friend of mine actually bought one of those mammoth bone sets, and I was like, oh no, I cannot use bone material with Waffles, right? And then the more I thought about it, I was like, wait a second, I can't even use regular size dice with Waffles because he's going to eat them. Right, that's the first thing Waffles will do, is he will eat those dice, right? And so I was like, oh, I got a significant issue there, right? So one of the things is I read a lot about Dungeons & Dragons. I read about Dungeons & Dragons adjacent. So one of the things is I read this fantastic article about a group of people in IRL who were not able to buy dice the way normal people would buy dice. They were limited and did not have access to freely buy dice, and did not have access to even own dice, right? So what they did was they actually made dice out of their pencils. They were allowed pencils in order to write, right? And so they actually would write numbers on their pencils and then roll the pencil, and the number would come up, right? Now, and I was like, okay, so there's other ways we can go here. So I was thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to need to custom tailor these dice to Waffles, the German Shepherd Corgi mix, right? So I thought about it, and I've come up with three dice solutions for Waffles, right? And I'm going to use them all, right? Because one of the things I'm thinking about as I move forward with this is, I think, I want Waffles to be able to choose how he generates a random number, right? And so all of these are within my budget, and I think all of these are going to be safe for Waffles, right? So here's my idea. So first of all, I already own one of these as a D20, and I'm now going to get a full set of these, right? I have a 55 millimeter hard plastic die, right? It's a D20, it's big red, and I bought it for Index Card RPG to say, hey, this is your difficulty number, and I still use that in Dungeons & Dragons. I'll just set the difficulty number. The thing's is as big as an apple, and I just put it down on the table, right? Now, even that, I was like, well, how is Waffles going to be consistently be able to roll this? Because Waffles is only one apple size from the floor, right? He's a tiny little dog, right? Actually, he doesn't, by the way, it's clear he doesn't know he's a tiny dog. He thinks he's huge and ferocious. So I'm also going to get a hard plastic ball and put these dice in the hard plastic ball, and then Waffles will be able to just hit it with his nose, and then the ball will roll and the dice will turn. That's the idea, right? This is what I'm spinning up to purchase right now. Okay. All right. So first of all, 55 millimeter hard plastic die, oversized dice in a hard plastic clear ball that Waffles can move around with his nose on the floor. And when he moves the ball, the die will roll. Okay. Next is Waffles out. So I have walked Waffles, and we take walks in the woods, right? And basically, when he goes in the woods, all he wants to do is grab sticks, right? So if I see a good stick, I'll grab the stick and then I'll, point it down to him, and he'll be like, junk, and he'll like bite it, right? So one of the things is that I was thinking is to get a hard plastic stick proxy. This is very easy. There's lots of these that are made for dogs. So like a dog toy, and then put 1 through 20 on it along the stick. And then what I'll do when we're playing is I'll be like, okay, it's time to roll dice, Waffles, and I'll just throw the stick into the air, let it fall, and then watch where he picks it up, and wherever his left tooth ridge is, that's the number he has produced, right? It's a random, right? My third idea for generating random numbers, actually for a die roll, for proxying a die roll, and so one will have a literal die roll with 55 millimeter oversized dice. Then, I'll be proxying a die roll with the 1 to 20 stick. And then last, I have this idea as I'm going to get a very nice, like a large mat, okay? A welcome mat, right? But no welcome on it. So my plan is to go to Lowe's and get the largest welcome mat I can find that is in just bog standard tan, right? And then on that welcome mat, I'm going to, I'm actually going to put 1, 2, 3 as little circles on the mat with large Sharpie, right? So I'm going to Sharpie these in 1 through 20, right? And I actually will then use a different color of Sharpie for 1D4, 1D6, 1D8. And then basically I'm going to lead, Waffles off of the mat and then get him to come back onto the mat in one particular way. And I think what I'll do is I'll hold a treat above the mat and then allow him to walk, and then walk back onto the mat, and wherever his tail ends, right? Actually, his tail has a black and brown section, right? And so wherever the cross section between the black and brown section is closest to, that's the number he's generated. So that's my plan to get safe die rolls from Waffles for Dungeons and Dragons, right? All of these options can be purchased. I will have to go online for the 55 millimeter dice. That's not going to be cheap. That's probably going to be close to $100, right? Maybe $200, right? For the full set of 55 millimeter hard plastic dice, and then hard plastic balls that have what is necessary to turn the die, that have the structure complexity to turn the die when Waffles rolls it. So that's going to be the most expensive part. But I want to have all of these available so that whatever mood Waffles is in to generate a random number, he has these options, right? Then I'm going to create the D20 stick, and then I'm going to create the D20 mat, right? And so I'll have all this done, and then there'll be 3 different ways for Waffles to generate a random number, and specifically to either literally do a die roll or to proxy a die roll. I'm also now thinking I'm going to have to do, like a 1D4 stick, a 1D8 stick, a 1D12 stick. So this will be expensive. I'm probably going to end up putting out between $200 and $400 for all of this. So, but, we're getting into interspecies Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm the first pioneer down this road, I think. So, from that perspective, I do think it's worth it to do that. All right. So so those are the ways that I figured out to generate a nice D20 roll, a D4 roll, D6 roll, D8, D10, D12, D percentile, right, with a dog. Do you have any ideas that are the biggest one is, I think all of these are safe for the dog. Am I right? Is there any risk to the dog with any of these? I don't think there is. If there is, let me know. Both the physical and the emotional safety of the dog will be, the highest priority at all times, right? And then, so one, are these options safe? Do you have a better option, right? I'd love to hear if you think there's a better way to do this What do you think is the best ways for dogs to make Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition rolls, dice rolls for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.